All right, it's time for a fleet update since we just added to it today. So, what do we got? 1989 Montero with the V6 automatic transmission, long wheelbase, one owner, 181,000 miles. It's a really clean rig, really nice. But the rear axle is broken, and coincidentally, that's what we're calling this vehicle. We're naming it Axle. And since it's been sitting for about 12 years, and hasn't run in that whole time, it's going to probably need an entire new fuel system, as well as maybe some engine work, all new fluids. So first step, get the new axle in it and then go from there. So that's the plan, but it's a really nice, you know, it's going to need all new moldings and everything like that. Eventually I got to kind of finagle this door handle. There we go. As you can see, it's not bad. It's hard to find Gen 1s that are still in this good of shape. Like, look at these seats. This is the bouncy seat. 181,000 miles. Just really clean. I know it's like actually dirty, but for a Gen 1 that's been sitting outside for 12 years, I mean, this is impressive. And no, the paint also isn't that bad on it. On the roof is probably the worst part. As you can see, a little bit of this rust bubbles and everything. But the thing is, if we get this running and driving, which at this point we're pretty damn confident that we'll be able to, this could make, like, I don't really know what our plans are for it at this time other than to test out Gen 1 parts, but like this could make a great restoration piece. I don't know if it would ever get so far that we'd want to repaint it, because the paint's not that bad, but short of that, I'd like to get this to the point where literally every little thing works on it, and drive it, put some miles on it, and yeah, bring it back to life and use it. So that's kind of the plan for Axle. Okay, now we move on to the 1994 SR, aka Cochise. We got this vehicle, it hadn't been running in 7 years. We got it to fire up, we got it to run a couple times. It needed an entire new fuel system, so that's what we did. You can kind of see in here, new fuel tank, new fuel pump, all new lines, new fuel filter, and yeah, we got it to fire up and drove it for a little while, but then it stopped running because the spark plug tube seals completely dried out and cracked, and there's just a ton of oil in all the spark plug wells. So now we're going to take the top of the engine off and do it actually has, and we also found on the test drive that it has a head gasket leak, a big one. So we got to do head gaskets and spark plugs and valve covers, and then put it back together, and Cochise should hopefully be good to go. It's got 391,000 miles on it, so pretty impressive. Zero rust. It's been in Arizona its whole life. But yeah, we got the tires on it last week, which I guess in retrospect was a bit ambitious, but that's all right. Okay, so moving on to Reggie, the 2001 Limited from Chicago. This is just one of our Gen 3 test vehicles. As you can see, we've got the headliner down right now because we were testing out some roof racks. This vehicle runs, it drives. We had to delete the rear brakes because there was a leak, a hole in the rear brake line because it rusted out. So we just deleted the rear brakes rather than have to rerun them. And it runs and drives, but it's just a shop vehicle. Yeah, we're just testing stuff out on it. As you can see, we got the spoiler on there. We've got this aftermarket rear bumper on there that we're testing out right now. And Reggie, yeah, has definitely served his purpose. Got a few more parts to test out on this vehicle. And then I don't know what we're gonna do. The rust is really bad. We might part it out. We're not sure yet. 2004 Montero Limited. This is Sparkles, and we have completely gone through this vehicle. It's a gorgeous vehicle, only 103,000 miles. It was with the same family since like 2005, just immaculate. But we went through everything and needed a bunch of just scheduled maintenance, timing belt job and spark plugs and all new fluids, random little stuff. All that is done. And what we just did is we're using it right now to test out some prototype springs from Lovells. And once we get done with that spring testing, then I don't really know what's next for this vehicle. I have a feeling we'll probably put it up for sale It's just, yeah, it's just so clean, so nice, and it deserves to be either, you know, daily driven or built into somebody's overland rig, rather than just being like a shop vehicle to like test things out on. And then of course there's Yoshi, the 2005 Montero, who, you know, is just out here living his best life. Been really slacking on this vehicle lately, haven't really done any work, any mods, just, yeah, just nothing. The front tires do rub on the inside of the fender. If I'm going like fast off-road, I hit a bump and I go to full compression. Like, it's not something that can happen on like a flex rack. So I need to add a little bit more lift there, just because I'm not getting even 2 inches because of all the weight that I have on the front. So been meaning to get to that for like over a year, and I've got to do the fuel tank valve recall. Also been meaning to get to that for like over a year now. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to that soon. Then of course, everyone knows my favorite, the 2012 Jetta Sportwagon TDI. You know, it's just a daily, I get it, but I love this car. It's probably my favorite car I've ever had. I believe that axle is number 25, 25th vehicle I've ever owned. And this one's my favorite probably. I love this Volkswagen. It was a Dieselgate special. Got it for an unbelievable price once Dieselgate was all sorted out. And I mean, it's still under like the Dieselgate warranty. I think I still have another year, maybe 2 years on it. And it's just like, I just love it. It's a jack of all trades vehicle. Like, it's not the best at anything, but it does everything really well. It doesn't get as good of miles per gallon as like a hybrid, but it still gets like in the 30s, 40s, depending on how you're driving it. It's got tons of power, but it's not the fastest car, but it is like very fast. Tons of torque with this turbo diesel. It's a wagon, so it holds tons of stuff. Like, I just absolutely love this car. Lastly, there is the 2013 Infiniti QX56, which is basically the same thing as a Nissan Armada from 2017 on, or its distant cousin, the Nissan Patrol, which shares a chassis and a lot of other things with this vehicle. But what is going on with this vehicle? Well, it's the wife's daily driver, Kidmobile, and let's see, in terms of Luso Overland stuff, we have got Lovell's rear springs sorted out for the rear. They're not on this vehicle, but they give about a 2-inch lift, so if people want to run 35s, it's great for that. It's also great for towing. So we've got the rear springs sorted out from Lovell's. The front springs, the existing Lovell's model, since it was designed for patrol, it just gives, well, it gives a good height, but it's a very high spring rate. So we have got a prototype coming from Lovell's that is still going to give like 2 inches of lift to run 35s comfortably, but a softer ride if you're not planning on adding like a steel bumper or winch or anything like that. The only other thing that we have gotten accomplished on this platform is, don't know if you can see, but we've got the full line of Booz bash plates on here in 6mm aluminum, so it goes engine sump, transmission, and transfer case. It goes really far back there. And so those are on the way. I think they're actually going to be arriving in about a month, and we'll have those stocked on the website, not just in 6mm aluminum, but also in 3mm steel. So that's it. That's the fleet update for June 29th, 2022. The state of the fleet at Luso Overland is strong at 7. And where will it go from here?